You're far away. I cannot believe this right now. What time is it?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and... Come on, fam. What song is it? Come on. All right, he just came.
All that I'm saying
is give peace a chance. Welcome back to the CONVO Council, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I am Fiorella, and it's late.
It's late night, midnight.
It's late, fam.
We are here. We wanted to do a show. We were dying to do a show, so we just decided to just jump on in. We also are working pretty hard for the holiday seasons. We work in the restaurant business to pay the bills. But we have an amazing show for you. I got to really give the props to my partner over here. She went down to the border.
I did.
And I'm not talking about Taco Bell. I'm talking about Tijuana.
Jesus, that was a bad joke.
Well, when I say get to the border, whatnot, and stuff.
But, freaking bad joke, fam.
Well, you know, in all seriousness, is this situation to me and Fiorella is very, very important. It's probably on the tops. It's just not about the immigration itself and why people are coming in. Excuse me, the fact that people are coming in. It's why they were coming in there. Why? So, fam has got some beautiful pictures, and I mean, they're beautiful pictures. They're raw. You did some awesome journalism work, and I'm going to be asking Fam some questions so she can explain to us what was going on. So, Fam, why don't you show us some of the pictures, what we got?
Okay, so the first picture is of the location. Initially, when I went there a few weeks ago, they were at a stadium called Benito Juarez. Benito Juarez was a soccer stadium. Well, during the time it rained, they flooded, so they had to move all of those people into a different location. This location is called El Baratal. It's about 20 minutes inside the city. Today, another journalist named Nancy Kaufman did a whole thing on KPFK. If you guys go to the archives and you can see it, it's on public radio. But that was the picture that we saw. So right here, we're seeing the pictures of the people in line. Okay. So those people are in line to go to a job fair. All those people that are in that line have to have papers by Mexico that says they are eligible to work. Okay. So in order to get in that line, you first have to get papers from Mexico.
So let me ask you a quick question right off the point, because a lot of people have been talking that, you know, some people have been turning down the work and wanting to still come to the United States despite having a chance to get something accomplished in Mexico itself. And it obviously seems like there's some impact from AMLO going on. What are these jobs they are offering them? Are they temporary? Are they full-time? Did you...
Well, a lot of what I heard is just like their jobs doing a multitude of things depending on their abilities. For instance, I met people who were business people, and I met people who were field workers anyway, or fishermen, and then I met people who were carpenters and electricians. So it just depends on what their needs are suited. However, a lot of people have been told by the news that they don't want to stay in Mexico, and the majority of the people that I spoke to were willing to stay in Mexico because there's just they were looking for like safety and for just some kind of peace of mind in their countries. They're not getting that. There's absolutely no jobs in their countries, so they're looking to do anything, and a lot of people are sending money back home to their families that can't work anyway. So
can you feel a consensus though that AMLO or new leadership within Mexico is obviously there and it's being more compassionate and willing to work with these people?
Yeah, so AMLO was a person that several people mentioned to me. They were generally happy. Mexican people and Central Americans both said that they have a lot of faith in Andrés Manuel López Obrador, or AMLO, because he seems to be a man of the people. So that's what they were telling me. And I asked this guard, there's a guard there, and as you can see, that's the food. Okay. They were feeding the people there. So that was early morning. They were feeding everybody. And
how many people total you said around when you were
so
there?
He said around about 3,000.
Okay.
Give or take there. There was more last time. So some of the people didn't want to leave. And this gentleman right there, he's a Mexican Marine, but they're only dedicated to feeding all of the refugees. So that's their...
No weapons.
I mean, they have weapons, but they're there to like just feed we asked them like, is there anything else you do? No, we're just there to feed the refugees, and that's it. The Mexican government is actually providing all of this. Okay. So that's just for people that say that there's a lot of, you know, fascism with the Mexican. It's really not that big. It's only a handful of people, just like it is here.
Well, it's the same thing over there. It seems it's like a little small, minute thing.
Yeah.
excuse me, the media gets a hold of it, they start showing it, and then there's this hysteria that the majority of people down there, there's a big movement, when we actually know, and you went down there and you said it is small and minute.
It's small and minute, and the majority of the people, we asked some random strangers, the Uber driver, the people, the servers, and the other policemen that were there, and they generally don't really have a negative opinion or a positive. They're just like, well, we'll see what happens, or, you know, the government's doing it anyway, so, and they do have a lot of faith in AMLO. So
and you said this is the living conditions over here, right?
Right. So these living conditions are very subpar, as you can see. It kind of looks like Skid Row, right? This is kind of what Skid Row looks like in a lot of these tents and stuff. And these people are very thankful. One of the things that I noticed when I went with my comrades, Michelle and Nancy, was that people were very thankful to be there. They were thankful just to be able to have a place where they can just be without feeling like they're in danger. And that's another thing that's really true. The fact that these people are in very, very much danger.
Well, where are the majority of these migrants coming from? I mean, you went down there and talked to them personally. This is not just hearsay. You know, if anybody doesn't know, the fam is bilingual, and you were able to talk to them. Well, I don't think we got a lot of Spanish around there. The fam is definitely bilingual, you know what I'm saying?
We'll do a show in Spanish one of these days.
Spanish, but that's it. But anyways, fam, you got to talk to a lot of these people and talk to them, you know, in depth. Where are the majority of these people coming from?
So the majority of these people, top two, number one, Honduras, number one. Number two, El Salvador. And then the other two are either Guatemala or Nicaragua.
Nicaragua certainly has just recently hit that map now.
Yes.
Because we've been reporting for over about 8 months. We've seen some American intervention over there. And now you've actually met people from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Okay.
The most prevalent and the people who are most like desperate and are gonna be the people from Honduras. And they're the most that I've met, the majority of people.
Did you ask anybody about the journey itself? Did they were able to give you a little bit, you know, a little bit of inside information? Because, I mean, I think a lot of people just look at the map and they see, oh my God, okay, that's not that big. But for some people with no money and having to hike and walk, and I heard there was, you know, even older people. And
right. So we interviewed a few people throughout my couple trips, but specifically this past trip, and the majority came from the caravan. So the caravan was the one that was driving people. The journey was tough. One of the men I talked to walked and kind of rode a truck 6,000 kilometers. Jeez. So, and he's 68 years old, so he's an older gentleman. And then we had a family that came together, cousins, brothers, husband, wife, and child. And they came together because they were threatened. And they're from Honduras, and they were threatened. And their business was threatened. They said they had to pay these I don't know, they didn't really call them gangs. They call them like pandillas, which is Spanish for gangs, but it's like it's different. They were like extortionists. They were extortioning their business, and so they said, if you don't pay, we're going to kill you. We're going to kill everybody. So then they fled, and those people are trying to seek asylum in the United States because they have family in Texas. Not everybody, of course. Some people are trying to seek asylum in Mexico, but most of these people either come with their kids, or if they leave their kids at home, they try to like find work as soon as possible so they can bring their kids and stuff like that. So
why did they have to leave their countries? When you say like it's a mess, like you know, just not the. It was. I guess it's more than just the banditos, right? And did I say it right?
The what? Oh, pandillas.
The bandillas, not the banditos. The bandillas.
Bandillas.
And what were the main reasons like in their country? I'm sure there's just more than that. Did you get a little insight to like what's really going on over there?
So the number one reason why people told me they came is because of violence. So they were fleeing violence and civil unrest, including gang violence, a state of chaos, and they just couldn't live. Like there was something going on. Their family members had been killed or threatened. Their businesses had been destroyed. That sort of thing. The second reason was because there is absolutely no work for them to be done. No, it's kind of like a state of emergency. You know, there's no work, no jobs. People are just running around. There's nothing for them to do. How are they going to get food? They can't go to a job. They can't get food. They're going to starve. Like, you know, so it's those two things combined that are happening right now, specifically in Honduras more than anything, but throughout Central America.
Yeah. And you know, fam, I've done a lot of we've done a lot of talking about this too as well, and I constantly bring up the coup in 2009. And I got a text from you the other night when you were down there. I want to tell our audience, and I just, when you get excited about these things, you had a picture you want to show there, right? What's that about, Johnny? There.
Yes.
The
so
Canadian
this is.
One?
Oh yeah. The Canadian one.
that?
People are applying for asylum to Canada as well, and
Okay.
that picture basically says, "Hey, I've written to you, and I still haven't heard back from you."
Okay.
Canada.
So people are looking to go to Canada too if they
Canada too. So tell our neoliberal Justin Trudeau that
oil money in now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the 2009 coup, you said, I got this text from you, and you were so excited, and you just made me excited too. I mean, not that we're happy that this stuff happens, but to actually hear from a person from Honduras, give us a little insight about what he said. Did you got a little interview?
Right. So this is Jesus. Jesus. And I know we've been talking for a long time about how this whole situation came about, because we understand that it's not just about people fleeing their homes for no reason just to come here to take people's jobs away. That's not what it's about. People in Honduras and in Guatemala and in these Central American countries are living the consequences of our actions. Back specifically since Reagan, but more recently since 2009. Now, I met this guy.
Jesus.
And he told me, without me asking, he literally was aware of the political situation and why this is happening now. I know that both our imperialism has no bounds, fam. So we know that we were there, and each time we touched a country that seemed to be doing really well in a socialist kind of government institution, socialist kind of economic democracy, we decided that that wasn't convenient. So let's go ahead and Johnny, if you can play from 5 minutes and 14 seconds to 8 minutes and 3 seconds, and bear with me because I'm going to translate everything
get right up into that mic then.
as it's going. Yeah.
Déjeme ver, cuando el golpe de estado, oh no, fue déjeme ver, estamos en el 19, ¿verdad?
2019.
19, fue en el 2009.
So in 2009, he said they had another one.
Can you tell, what's his name?
Actually, that's right. That was during the Obama presidency.
Obama presidency. So do you think that part of the reason why, or most of the reason why, the people are leaving Honduras and coming here because it's the United States regime change that created the violence and the instability in your country that caused the people to want to leave Honduras?
¿Tú piensas que la mayor parte de la razón por qué Honduras está así en un estado de guerra civil es porque muchos interferieron, incluyendo los Estados Unidos?
Es lógico. Se rebajó se liberó la salud, todo eso para el pueblo. El pueblo pues tenía acceso a la presidencia, no pagábamos la luz eléctrica, más bien nos devolvían dinero. ¿Entiendes? Se liberó la gasolina a un precio bajo, a pagar a crédito 20 años, un 1% con Venezuela. En fin, trabajo, se dio ayuda a familias como casi medio millón que no iban a gastar un centavo, iban a recibir toda la ayuda para que esa...
So, since that was really long, he's saying that back in 2009, the government was doing great. They had Medicare for all.
Yeah.
The wages had gone up 50%. They didn't pay electricity. Actually, they got money back for saving electricity.
Wow.
Everything was great. The people had money. The gas prices were low, similar to the prices that Venezuela was paying. And so he's just saying everything was awesome. Like during this time, the president, the person that they had democratically elected, I'm going to move forward a little bit, is Manuel Zelaya. Okay, and you know about him.
Yes.
Okay, he was the leftist president that was doing all these things.
Yes.
So go ahead and play it a little bit.
Democratically elected Manuel Zelaya.
Correct. And what timing are we on right now? 6:37. Okay, you can.
All right.
flotante sacar a los demás, ¿entiendes? Se estaba liberando todo, ¿entiendes? Se inventó el sueldo en un 50% más y eso no le gustó a los empresarios, ni le gustó a las transnacionales. Y entonces en ese tiempo estaba como candidata a la presidencia de la señora ¿sí? La señora
Obama.
De la otra señora blanca, doña
Hillary Clinton.
So he goes on to say the capitalists and the businessmen did not like this. They weren't making enough profit. So during this time, he mistakenly called her the president, but because she was running as president. But then I said Obama, and then he goes, no, the other white lady, and then we're like, oh, Clinton, and he's like, yeah, that one. So let it play.
Que fue la que justificó las elecciones para que nosotros aprobáramos.
Exactamente.
Yeah.
So, translate.
Yeah.
So he said that in 2009, they had increased wages by 50%. They had free healthcare, universal healthcare. Their economy was great. The people were doing well, and then Hillary Clinton came in. The capitalists didn't like that. The business people didn't like that, and they came in and they ruined it all.
And they created a regime change?
Yes.
And who replaced? What was the name of the president?
¿Quién era el presidente ahí y quién lo reemplazó?
What was the name of the good president and what was the name of the replacement? Both of them.
Del golpe de estado, Micheletti, que está como rey, se llevó todo lo que había en caja. De ahí, de itinerario, o sea, transmitió el mando a Pepe Lobo, que está justificado, todos sus hijos están en narcotráfico y todo eso, y él está demandado, él y la esposa, por saquear también el arca del gobierno. ¿Entiendes?
So, Manuel López Zelaya, of course, with the help of our country and capitalists, was replaced by Micheletti, who was an interim president, and then he was replaced by a more nationalist president thereafter. And he specifically mentioned Hillary Clinton.
He said the other white woman, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And then when we said Hillary Clinton, he was like, yeah, it's
that no, that name. Well, fam, what is this whole mentality that a lot of people think, when I ask why, and it's one of those questions, and people who are even politically engaged, and I say, hey, why are these people coming? Well, I don't know exactly, but I just assume that their countries are third world countries, that they just can't carry themselves. They can't be okay by themselves, and we have to go in there and
spread democracy.
Yeah, spread democracy, do all that stuff. I mean, is that the case, or what the gentleman told you? Because I know Zelaya, and when I studied that populist president, he had similar programs and policy forms like Daniel Ortega, and needless to say, the people of Nicaragua they're just, booming. GDP is going up 5% every year. The highest gender equality. 1/3 of the people, of the indigenous people, own land in Nicaragua. So Manuel Zelaya was presenting these same type of policies. However, we said no, and
we didn't like it. It wasn't beneficial to us. Also, they weren't going to pay very much for oil. That's a whole other realm right there.
One, yeah.
And so we went in, and Hillary Clinton, what basically happened, I'm just going to surmise, is she went in there and they made it impossible to have a proper democratic election. And so then instead of having the president of the people, and he goes on to talk about how everything was going well, he was going to win, and then all of a sudden he lost.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So that was also election tampering, and where have we seen that before, fam?
Oh, I know. Right.
So we cannot let a country that is a successful socialist country be successful, because it literally ruins the idea that capitalism is the way to go. And then we lie to these people, and a lot of these people don't know what he knows. He was a businessman, and he said he reads a lot of books, and he's very, very well informed. That's not the average person that you're going to get from there. And I'll say that. But it was amazing to run into this guy, because he knew exactly what was going on. Like, he started talking about it. And I'm just going to go ahead and play a little bit of, you had the other recording. I think it was 11:45, minute 11:45. He says a couple of other things.
that they're in right now.
Los Estados Unidos y gente como Hillary Clinton fueron los que también tuvieron mucha influencia en eso de los negocios, ¿verdad?
Por supuesto. Yo creo.
So I was asking him, the United States and people like Hillary Clinton are the ones that had a lot of influence in what happened and where the money went, right? And he's about to answer.
Que nada se mueve si ellos no lo permiten.
Nothing moves unless they don't want it to move. That's what he's saying.
So he said nothing moves unless they want it to move.
Wow.
Yeah. So crazy.
Spreading our imperialistic ways within the world. But you know what, fam? I think we have to be a little bit more educating. So, you know me with my games. I found a game, and let's play a game over here. Let's get some music over here. I want to introduce you to the Fam Feud.
Oh my God!
Give me some music. No music?
Fam, you have to have your music. All right.
What? That's it? I can't hear it.
Okay.
All right. Woo! Okay. I'm going to do the Richard Dawson Family Feud because I don't want to do Louis Anderson or Steve Harvey. So you're going to be the contestants over here.
Okay.
Richard Dawson used to get kisses from everybody. All right, maybe not. So here's the question, fam. Remember, you get 3 strikes and 3 strikes only. If you get 3 strikes, you lose. But if you get all the answers and clear the board, all the answers up there, then you win, fam. So here's our topic. Are you ready?
I'm ready, fam.
We asked 100 people. We surveyed 100 people. 100 people said top 4 answers are, tell us why the United States of America is intervening in Central America.
How about to steal the land and natural resources like bananas for corporate interests?
All right, let's take a look at it. It's a good answer. Good answer. We're talking about the steal the land and the resources. Survey says. Oh, she got the number 4 answer on the board.
Nice.
Way to go, fam. Here's again. Let's do it. Remember, the question is, tell us why the United States of America is intervening in Central America. Tell us why, fam.
Let's try to save the people from brutal dictatorships.
Ooh. Sorry, survey says. Survey says. That's
why we do it, man.
You got 1 strike, fam.
Thought that was what we did.
1 right answer, 1 strike, fam. That's not good. Let's try it again. Tell us why the United States of America is intervening in Central America.
To debunk the ideology of socialism.
Good answer, fam. Give us.
Pretty much.
Bunk the ideology of socialism. Boom, fam. You got 2 out of the 4 up there. That's really nice. Well, let's give us the answer, fam, one more time. You got 2 more strikes left. Tell us why the United States of America is intervening in Central America.
To spread democracy.
Spread democracy, okay. Let's take a look at the board. Spread democracy.
Damn.
Fam, you got 2 X's. You got 1 more X
That's
left.
what Nancy Pelosi told me.
Well, you know what? She says our values unite us. Fam, just give us another reason why you only got 1 more strike. And you got 2 more answers you got to get. So there's no room for error. Tell us why the United States of America is intervening in Central America.
For the sale of weapons?
The sale of weapons is a good answer. Let's take a look. Military-industrial complex got to eat, right? Give us weapons! Woo! 1 more, fam. You got 1 strike left and 1 more answer. So this has got to be it. Either we're busted out or we go in Sizzler Jimmy Dean style. Tell us why the United States of America is intervening in Central America.
I'm going to go with so that the IMF and other Western corporations can force these countries to use our banking systems.
All right. This is it. We're either going home or going to Sizzler. Give us the Rothschilds in the bank. Boom. You won. There you goes. Give me music again.
I would have gotten a straight A or a straight win. But
the feud. The family feud. It's over. There it is. So, fam, we have all the answers. Let's talk about these answers real quick, though. Number 1, everybody says that answer all the time. They say, Not the first X.
Yeah.
They always say that we have to go in there and we have to police the world.
Yeah.
That we have to save these people from their brutal dictatorships. Is that the truth? Are we going there? And is that why we're going there?
Clearly, we're going there to destabilize other countries so we look good and so we can continue spreading our capitalistic oligarchy and our imperialistic penis everywhere. This is a late night.
The thing that's disgusting about it is that we're not going there to save people from these brutal dictatorships. We're actually propping up these brutal dictatorships and these death squads. So,
well, one of the things the people said to me was the gentleman and other people have said is because the reason there's gangs, there's violence is because they left the people with no ways to make money, no ways to survive. So when you do that, then you make a violent thing happen. They always, John F. Kennedy said, if you make a peaceful revolution impossible, you make a violent revolution inevitable. And unfortunately, when the people were happy, they went and destroyed it and made it so all the money was privatized. And Jesus talked a lot about it. About the money being privatized, about everything, the wealth being so, the wealth disparity being so bad. And right now in the United States, we're seeing that a little bit, and we're seeing what's happening in France, and frankly, like, it's gonna go one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Well, and what about the idea that we talked about this too as well? Everybody doesn't. For those people who don't know out there, I'm on a banana strike. I ain't eating bananas.
Right, the bananas. That was a big thing.
The Chiquita bananas would used to be for the UFC and not the Ultimate Fighting Championships. We'll talk about the United Fruit Company, which is now morphed and transitioned into Dole. Dole fruit, Chiquita bananas, that whole 9 yards. But it's all owned by corporations and American interest. We've actually pillaged the land. And one of the reasons why we go in there is we want to steal their natural resources, correct?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. What about the ideology of the socialism? Let's touch a little bit on that. Because Rachel Brunke once told me, she says, listen, they don't want people just to the north of them to see a socialistic government work. They don't want to see people that live in Central and South America with healthcare, with education, because if we see it, then we're going to demand it for ourselves.
Exactly.
Is there any legs to that?
There's 100% legs to that. I mean, a lot of these countries, including Honduras, had all of these things that we don't even have now. And people like the neoliberals and the neocons, both of them, they don't want to see that happening because they lose money. I mean, if you think about it, America privatizes education. We privatize healthcare. We privatize medicine. We privatize anything we can possibly privatize. And so the moment we see another country, a third world country, be more successful through a socialist government, then it literally negates the whole idea that capitalism is going to save the world, that our form of democracy is there for everybody else. And then it's so much easier to vilify people in countries like in Venezuela. Because then you can just be like, look, that failed. Look, if you want socialism, go to Venezuela. And it's just not right, because we know that journalists have gone there. We know people like Abby Martin have gone there and talked to the people. And the same thing, like, I went over there and they're telling me different things. They're telling me things that I didn't even know they knew. But it's like they're living this. People are just trying to survive. A lot of these people just still see the United States as a beacon of hope, but they don't realize necessarily, like, they wouldn't have to come here in the first place, and some of them do. Some of them, like Jesus, they know, they've been around a long time. That's another thing. He's been around a long time.
Rachel said that we probably, I told her to give me a percentage of how much of the problem we cause, and she says like probably 90%, because the majority of the people, as long as there's ways and means of eating and putting their kids, clothes on their children and taking care of those things, they want to stay in that country. It's just that they're forced to leave. Which brings us to the next point. Just to finish up with that last one, though, you're right. I don't think the people in America they don't want the greater powers don't want the citizens to get any bright ideas when it comes to socialism, with that education and that healthcare, but also the sale of weapons. We're talking about weaponizing these motherfuckers to the T, and all those weapons come from where? The U.S. of A.
Right. Exactly. The weapons and wars. One of the people that took over in Honduras was a narcotraficante, which was a narc.
Yeah, from, pretty much. And you know what? I know we did some bagging on Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, but in all fairness, too, Donald Trump has a part to play in this. In 2017, they recognized the validity of that election when they know it was a fake election because, once again, it was a friendly government. It was a government that was going to take money from the IMF, take that money from the IMF, buy weapons from the United States, let us go in there, let us pillage the whole place, you know what I'm saying? And, yeah, it's just disgusting when you talk about it and stuff. But what about the whole mentality of spreading democracy? Isn't that a little bit kind of weird? Because didn't Manuel Zelaya win? Wasn't he the democratically elected president in 2009?
We don't spread democracy if it doesn't benefit us. So, I mean, that's just it. You know, he wasn't going to benefit us. He was going to benefit the people, and the people who do that are a threat.
Yeah.
So,
would you say that the number one threat to these countries, though, is the fact that it's the IMF, it's the banking system? That's the number one driving force there. I mean, yeah, we got the weapons with the military-industrial complex. We got the corporations with stealing the natural resources. You talk about the oil companies that want to get in there and pillage the village and stuff like that. But doesn't all the roads lead back to Rome? And Rome is the IMF, this whole mentality that we got to force people to use our banking systems.
Yeah, I mean, because what an imperialistic country wants, what a country like Rome, what a country, you know, of the countries that have existed, that have gained so much power, they want to have countries dependent on them. You never want to be dependent on a country. You want to be the top dog. You want to be the person that people depend on. Therefore, you're always in control. That's why when we spread democracy, we're either getting oil, we're getting weapons, we're getting any resources that we need, and it's going to benefit us because people are using what we provide, and that's capitalism, and that's unfettered corporate capitalism. That is literally. I mean, I went to TJ, and the first thing I thought, wow, like everything's cheap here. You know, it's like what, 20 pesos for $1. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's cool that it's cheap. But then I'm like, really, what cost does this come at? Yeah. Right? Because someone else is working 12 hours for a few dollars, right? Because they're not making the money that people make here. And that's the price of being an American. A lot of people don't want to look at that because it's like, well, why am I being blamed? And it's like, no, just be aware of it. Be aware of the way that we have been propped up to be this country of freedom and justice, and we've done anything but that to the rest of the world.
Well, you know what? One of the things that really drove me crazy this week was the fact that all the yellow vests were being taken down on all the independent media people's pages because they were saying not suitable for children. So, you know, they've been feeding all this bullshit that America's the hero, that we're the Captain America, we're the Superman, and we're there to be the protectors, and we're fighting for good versus evil, when yet it's just all eyes are pointing on us, the corporations and the imperialistic ways and capitalism. That's the evil. So we talked about the North Triangle. We talked about Honduras, and all these other countries. You know, you talked to Jesus and stuff like that. We talked about the why. You know, how we went in there in 2009 and we tore the country apart. You know what I'm saying? But let's transition into the what. What is America doing about this? What are the Republicans doing? More importantly, the resistance, the party of the people. What are they doing about it? Now, this next clip we're going to show, it's about a minute long. And this was the other day with Donald Trump and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and a statue of Mike Pence, because he didn't say anything or do anything, were in a room, and they started getting into it. And they started arguing over migration. And
there's so many good memes.
I want you to take a look at this thing. This thing went viral out there, but I just got to say some stuff after. I'm not going to say anything right now. I'll give you my opinions after. But fam, watch this video.
20 times.
Very quickly. And
20 times.
I don't want to do what you did.
20 times
Chuck,
you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my wool. None of us have said.
You want to know something?
You've said it.
Okay, you want to put that on my...
You've said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border security.
Okay, fam. Do you want to say anything right now before I go apeshit crazy on this one? Because, like, let me tell you something, man. You know I'm not a Trump supporter at all, and all this dangerous people coming in. There's a lack of compassion. Don't get me wrong, but only Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi can make the president look like he's a strong leader. Really, they have zero solutions. Zero. Oh, their whole ideology is let Trump step in shit and he's bad. Not to do anything.
Yeah, just
they made him look proactive while they were just reactive. And it's the same old shit, fam. I mean, after the 2016 elections, weren't we supposed to do something? Weren't we supposed to change? Weren't we supposed to reform? That's the same old frigging crap. Chuck Schumer has zero to offer. You know why, fam? They'll never talk about the problem because we talk about 2009. We talk about we talk about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. Well, Chuck Schumer is a close tie friend of the Clintons, and he profited as well. There were a bunch of lobbyists who went in to push this coup in 2009, and Chuck Schumer was part of the party responsible. So therefore, they never talk about solutions.
Right, because it makes them look bad. It makes them. They have nothing to say. Like they can't. It's theater. It's political theater, and that's the problem. They're really bad actors. Like for real. It's just very obvious. It's just a play-by-play. Meanwhile, we're all talking about this, and then nothing gets solved.
No, nothing.
Nothing gets solved.
And it's just the politics of 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like just let Trump burn himself up. Like no. This is a populist time. You have to you have to stand for something. And once again, I don't stand for the things that Trump does, but his people do. For his people, he looks strong. Right. You don't want to take it, Chuck? I'll take it. You know what? Put it on me. Continue to sit there and do fucking nothing. Okay? I got it. You know what? I'll shut it down. You know what? And I'm proud to shut it down.
Shut it down.
We're not crazy about that by any means, whatnot. But Chuck Schumer's smiling like he really did something. Chuck the schmuck. And Nancy Pelosi, what was she saying? Can I have some lemon cookies? Excuse me.
That was a good Pelosi voice.
That was lemon cookies right now. Chuck's getting into it. He's hypoglycemic and he needs something to eat. God. Please, I'm sorry. Don't get, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now, here's another thing, fam. So I had to go watch the spin. You see Tommy Lauren. She's screaming, God. Trump, blah, blah, blah. He did this. So if you had any doubt whatsoever, fam, that the mainstream media is even more of a joke than the leadership party, I'm gonna help you out here, because take a look at the Rachel Maddow show coming up right now, right?
Oh God.
The way she spins this and stuff. If you had any doubts, fam, whatsoever, that the mainstream media is not the lapdog of the establishment, watch this. Watch how she spins it.
What a weird day today was in the news.
Weird.
Look at Mike Pence here. The vice president today, sitting there perfectly still, and for a lot of the time his eyes were like at half-mast, like maybe he was meditating or possibly dozing, but he just sat there without moving. He's like in Lincoln Memorial pose. And this whole kinetic, bizarre scene is unfolding around him that he took no part in whatsoever. The president and the Democratic leader of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who's about to be Speaker of the House again, Democratic Senate leader, Chuck Schumer, the three of them, the two Democrats and the president, are having this big animated on-camera fight in the Oval Office in front of reporters, half talking to each other, half talking to the press. And the president, gets put in his place by Nancy Pelosi like he's a kid who doesn't understand what he's in trouble for.
No, he's not. Go if you want to do something that's equivalent to pulling teeth out of your friggin' mouth, go ahead and watch the whole 14 minutes of this video and stuff like that. She says nothing. Zero. She was trying to goat Trump into a vote in the House now before they switch over. Okay, she says, well, why don't you do it? And Chuck and Donald Trump's sitting there and goes, I'm not going to do it. You know why? Because we don't have the 60 votes in the Senate. So why am I going to waste my time and the people's time going for a vote that's not going to help us? Okay, so I'm not going to do it. She's like, well, you should do it. You should do it. Like, I mean, I know you are, but what am I? And then Chuck's over there, his same thing.
And then Pence is there like high as a kite or something.
He was just sitting there. But the way that Rachel Maddow they try to spin this stuff. And it's really, if there's anything that had to change, it was the leadership. You're going to sit there and tell me that these two people, Chuck the Schmuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, represent the working people? They represent the everyday people? They're a bunch of elitist jerks. So out of touch, they had nothing, and they make the president look strong. And Rachel Maddow, you know what? I have new light. I saw it today, fam. These people don't even look smart to me anymore. I'm like, you guys are just done. Watch the rest of this girl.
Chuck Schumer is basically laughing at the president, making jokes at Trump's expense to the reporters in the room while Trump is sitting there fuming. But there's the vice president, perfectly still. It's like he just left his body. He's a human-like robot, but they couldn't afford the one with the internal battery pack. He was the plug-in one, but somebody accidentally kicked the cord out of the wall, and so he just powered down and became inert. It was such a weird start to the news day.
It was weird watching Chuck and Nancy get abused.
All the more so because it's kind of a big day. We are, of course, expecting the sentencing tomorrow morning of the president's longtime personal lawyer, whose own federal case has led
Could
to
you stop it right there?
prosecutors.
Oh, God.
But, fam, you see what I'm talking about? You're down there at the border. We're talking these people, these caravans, they're coming in. They've sent, Donald Trump sending the troops over there, 15,000 troops, and all this stuff, this chaos that's going on. And what does MSNBC and Rachel Maddow do? They don't even talk about what the discussion was about, what the argument was about. They don't even break it down.
They just make fun of Trump.
They go right to Russia, and if you let it go on, and I don't want to let it go on, because it's one's going to start talking like, well, Cohen knows about the Russian investigation. No, Cohen got 3 years today because of the Stormy Daniels thing and campaign finance laws. It had nothing to do with Russian collusion, fam.
I can't believe you, fam, because you like hammer and sickles. Sorry.
I do like hammer and sickles and stuff like that.
Fucking call me.
But I'm done. And I'm done with it. And you know what? Listen, there's a lot of questions about where we're going with this party right now. I don't know. Barbara Lee not getting at least the progressive caucus leader. I mean, what gains have we made? And if people don't see that this is going to cost us in 2020, if this is the leadership, Chuck Schumer was not making jokes at Trump's expense. Trump was abusing Chuck Schumer, and Chuck Schumer was just laughing. And we want to keep it open. Yeah, you think people want the same old shit?
Yeah.
No comment.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of going off over here. And
America season 10. We'll be right back.
Let's get this last subject in over here. Fiorella Isabel and Pasta Jardula on the 1s and 2. So we did talk about something really good, that we talked about the presence of AMLO in Mexico. He got sworn
Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
Yes. You got a clip, fam? Johnny Tsunami? You did. I guess we don't have it anymore. But anyways, AMLO was sworn in. Now, AMLO's a good son because this was the third time he ran. He finally got in. And he accused the Mexican government at times of fixing these last elections. Kind of similar to someone we know over here. Hopefully it will be his second time and he can get in. But I think it has to be so big the way it was with AMLO, because he had such a huge victory. We need the same thing with Bernie again. And we need to get it good this time for good, because if it's close, fam, they're going to rig it again.
What do you think about that, about Bernie, not talking about Bernie running? Just as a side note, like, a lot of people are saying don't talk about it yet, but then they're already organizing for Bernie. Previous campaign, people in his campaign, they're already asking. Well, there's already calls and stuff. So I think it's important to get ahead. I think it's important to know and have know which progressives are running, if there are any besides Bernie. There might be another one, the only other person I think, but which is Tulsi. But other than that, like, I really don't see pushing for Beto. I really feel like that's a mistake. There's a lot that's come out on him.
Beto was big pro-Israel and oil money
and all that. And then, like, pushing people like Biden, who, like, has, like, all these accusations.
Give me a
billionaires
break.
Aren't the problem. And
Give me
millennials
a
are
break.
entitled.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
And then Kamala Harris, who, oh God, I just can't with Kamala. So I really, if they put any other fucking, are you listening?
Talking to Bernie.
Oh,
See him over there?
Yeah, I do.
He's on my right shoulder.
He's like whispering. Any other person besides a progressive is going to lose to Donald Trump, and it's got to be pretty much.
Well, you're gonna have to get a populist in this time. You can't just throw anybody out there. And I think they were trying to to move with Kamala Harris. They're trying to put her in position. Elizabeth Warren, she came out and take the nativity test right away. She's
nativity test.
Saying it was under the tree. But I think the AMLO situation was a great thing. He was sworn in the other day. He's already having pushback from the IMF. The IMF is already trying to dictate what he can and cannot do. So it's going to be very interesting with AMLO and stuff.
So hopefully he sticks to his guns because we need him.
No fracking, he says. He's a non-fracking president, and he wants to end a lot of the corruption and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? Dealing with this IMF is going to be tough.
It's really hard when you're a few people fighting against the big establishment because they're powerful and there's not enough of us yet. Yeah. So we have some breaking news through memes.
Should we get a little music with this? What do you think?
What do you think?
Let's get music, but not
sexy music.
No, let's get something here.
What are you putting?
Hold on.
What kind of music is that? Oh no.
I got it right here.
When you're a few people fighting against the big establishment, they're powerful. There's not enough of us yet. Hold on. We have some breaking news through memes.
Should we get a little music with this?
Fam.
So let's get these memes going, fam. Here we go.
Okay. So.
Right there, the second one.
And this one is from Mauricio on Facebook. It says, "This could be us, but we're too busy fighting each other instead of the corrupt system."
It's something we got to look at. We talked about this. They're trying to tell the children, don't watch this stuff. This is huge. This isn't just about a tax, fam. This is about austerity programs and neoliberal policies for years and years and years. By the end of the month, a lot of French people have no money in the bank for gas, food, for their children. They can't even buy stuff this Christmas, they were saying. And enough is enough. So you know what they did? To the streets.
To the streets. And we've always looked after France. Here's the other meme. These are the different cities in France. We got Paris, Bordeaux, Dijon, Montpellier, Strasbourg, Nice, Toulouse. I don't know how to say that one. Lille and Nantes.
Whatever, something. A nice another French town. And you know what? It's also spreading, fam. We also see some march with yellow vest in the Netherlands the other day. So Europeans are watching. Why can't we do that, fam?
Because we're too busy fighting each other. Because we're not as.
Okay, well, let's talk about that sellout Joy Reid, right? Can we talk about her because we talk about Rachel Maddow? Remember when Joy Reid was all about Bernie Sanders and whatnot and stuff?
That seems like another dimension now.
Well, what did she talk about? What did she say about the French Hillary Clinton?
Well, yeah. So we all knew Macron was neoliberal, right? But she said, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Macron is the most viable pro-West, pro-pluralism candidate. Let me guess. You wanted the wool-dyed communist?"
Wool died. Wool died. They have a great leftist over there. He should have won the election. Penn is the one on the right. There's a female version of the Trump over there. But Macron got in, and all these neoliberal governments, all these, and AMLO talked about this in his inauguration. He talked about neoliberal policies don't work. Austerity doesn't work. It just makes people poor.
And then they rebel. So
what happened today, fam?
Today, Bernie Sanders.
Breaking news. It's huge.
There was a historic vote today to end the U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen. So we've been supplying the Saudis weapons. We've been helping them out. And Bernie Sanders issued this resolution to stop funding for Saudi Arabia. And also there was a journalist that was murdered as well. So they were also looking into that. So it passed the Senate 60-39. However, if you remember the farm bill that the House passed, there was an attachment there that says it invalidates this Yemen resolution. So that was part of it. So in order for the farm bill to pass, it invalidates the war in Yemen, which forces this. A lot of people have been discussing this. They were confused. Our post got a lot of shares and stuff. So let me explain it really quickly. So the resolution, the bill passed the Senate. It's going to go into final vote later, and then after that, it would normally go into the House. However, because of that that resolution on the Farm Bill, which, by the way, was my boyfriend Paul Ryan.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when he leaves, fam?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, but anyway, he was the one that led that, and then so now it pushes this into January 2019. However, in January 2019, we have an incoming freshman Congress that is more to the left of the current Congress, and that's also going to push us into having a majority in the House.
Whatever, dude.
So
Nancy
there is
Pelosi,
a chance.
please.
There is a chance with the majority of Democrats.
I ain't banking on
to
them.
do this.
Let me tell you something. If Nancy Pelosi is your Speaker of the House, you have yourself a right-wing party. You ain't a Democrat. That ain't liberal. Whatever happened to fam at the Los Angeles Kitty Council?
A few good apples.
There are, but you know what I'm saying? Still a lot of work to be done.
There's
a lot of
us
blue
that
dog
need to be in there.
Democrats.
By the way, let's just say this. Because a lot of people are like, well, it's not good enough. And it isn't good enough. It's a start. It's a start. But I'm glad someone's attempting to do that. I don't think it's settling to avoid people dying. Because at the end of the day, no matter what happens, maybe at least some people will stop dying. Some of these children who are starving will stop dying. I think it doesn't have to be perfect. And as you know, you're never going to pass a bill that's so progressive when it's a Republican majority in Congress. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. You got to water it down. It ends up being watered down no matter what. And it sucks. And until we have a majority in Congress that is anti-war as hell, we're not going to be able to get things done. So we need to get us in there, is basically what I'm saying. The Los Angeles City Council unanimously approved the Venice Bridge housing.
Fam, can I say something? You've been showing up to these things. You've been working so hard. There were some people who came in tonight. They were actually from Sri Lanka. I gave them all of Mel's information.
Oh, really?
Mel Telekarantne. This is the second time. And they always ask, they said, how's your roommate doing? I said, it's awesome. We were going to do a show when we get home tonight. And fam is going to brag about the real bridge housing. And you mentioned this because there's also going to be some therapy there, right, fam?
Well, there's going to be a focus on mental health. And the thing with bridge housing is it's not just a shelter. It's a little bit different. Once you have a bridge housing, it's focused on getting people back into the workforce, getting people back into being able to be productive members of society. Because when you are a person that's lived on the streets or been in jail or been in a different kind of circumstance that's extreme, you're not just going to be able to go back and act like nothing happened. It's going to have some psychological and some health backtracks and some damage. So you're going to have to be able to be in a good environment where you can transition better into it. And so it was approved unanimously by our city council in Los Angeles. And special shout out to Mike Bonin, who's one of the more progressive city council people. He's not perfect, but he really helped us out. Yeah. And I will
said he's one of the more progressives.
Credit is due.
That's it. And then the recovery, they will flourish there. They will flourish. You got anything else?
We got one more.
Because I know this story was burning a hole in fam's ass. I didn't mean that in the belly. She was pissed off from this story, fam. Tell us about it.
So I'm going to tell you about, I don't think he has it up, but this is Centoya Brown. Centoya Brown is going to serve 51 years.
Sentenced to 51 years.
In prison before she's even eligible for release. She was a sex trafficking victim who murdered her attacker. She claims self-defense, and so in Tennessee. Now, this is Tennessee. We know what Tennessee is like. But this tweet says, adult Brock Turner only served 3 months for raping an unconscious woman because serving jail time would ruin his life, while teenage Centoya Brown has to serve 51 years in prison for killing her rapist. But please tell me more about how white male privilege is a myth. So this is it, and it's not just white male privilege. Let me reiterate: these people have money. These men that get away with these crimes also have a lot.
He went
to
Stanford.
Money.
He had some cash,
and he was known as a swimmer, etc., etc. But this is how our justice system, the parallel of how two people are treated. She's been in jail forever. I think she's my age, and she was tried as an adult when she was a minor. Things like that shouldn't have happened. My girl, Maria Lynn, is in social work, and she follow her for for that, because she knows a lot about the situations that led to her even being in that situation.
Yeah.
Her family life was not good, and it's just a plethora of things that keep wrapping up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you have these two, the way we deal with it, which isn't fair.
Yeah, money talks and bullshit runs the marathon, man. It's just these, you got cash. These lawyers go behind closed doors. They cut deals. They make deals. And that's it. And then you got a guy like Brock Turner, because his parents got some funds, and he gets what? Nothing. 3 years.
3 months.
Yeah.
No, he got 3 months.
3 months. That's nothing. He got shit for raping an unconscious woman.
They shorted it, and
they didn't want him hurting himself in prison and whatnot.
Well, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Well,
So.
fam, do we have any more unpacking to do? Anything coming up you want to talk about real quick before I send us out?
No, just check out Nancy's KPFK report if you can find it online. She talks about Jesus and talks about our experience there on radio.
We want to apologize for not going as frequently as we like. We've been working a lot lately. Johnny Tsunami, say hi to the boys and girls out there. Show your face. Come on, the El DeBarge out there. He's doing such a good job. The guy works hard. We love him. Go Knights! Undefeated season again. Going to play in the Fiesta Bowl.
Jets suck, fam.
Oh, shut up. The Jets do suck, but they are playing this Saturday, and they got a young Sam Darnold. Boom! That's right. UCF is going to win it all. If you got a chance, go over to our YouTube on the Convo Couch YouTube. The link's down below. Click, like, share. Help us out. And if you got a few bucks, always check out the Patreon. Next week, we got some more stuff coming on. We're going to be talking about the DNC California chair. We'll be getting some more information on that story. There's a lot to be unpacked when it comes to that, fam. A lot of stuff's going on. We got some people running all around the airwaves, but it's been a little quiet. But other than that, I'd just like to say a special shout out to Niko House. Thank you so much. Find your balance. Convo out.
Convo out.